Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today, we're going to be doing a little playthrough of, first of all, Elder Scrolls: A Call to Arms by Modiphius Games. This is a tabletop war game, skirmish. It can be played as either a delve single player or cooperative mode, going through dungeons and stuff like that, or as a PvP game, much like Warhammer and the rest of them, and all the other tabletop war games out there. Now, today I'm going to be playing through the Escape from Helgen. This is a little tutorial. It's relatively short, but this teaches you very much the basic core mechanics of the game, especially delve mode mechanics. And so we're going to be running through this today, which you can get inside the core box set from Modiphius Games, the core box set for Elder Scrolls: A Call to Arms. And yeah, we're going to play through the 3 parts of the tutorial, get the idea for the rules, and then later we're going to go into some delves and some PvP battles on the channel. But if you're wanting to learn the rules and see how the game sort of functions and works at a very basic level, this is going to be the video for you. So without further ado, let's get cracking on into it and let's go check out Elder Scrolls: A Call to Arms by Modiphius Games, the Escape from Helgen tutorial. And so here we are with our little tutorial game. So this is tutorial number 1 out of the Escape from Helgen booklet that comes alongside the core box set of the Elder Scrolls: A Call to Arms game. So let's just look at what we've got on the table for starters. So we've got our little Dragonborn card here. This is one of the many different hero cards. You can see we've got our health, stamina, and magicka, height, and cost here. Cost is for the PvP version of the game. We've got up here, we've got our allegiance, so we're an adventurer, but we can also be included in Stormcloaks and Imperials. You can only ever be a leader of a warband in PvP from your main allegiance. The character card here tells us like race, the path we're on, perks we get, keywords, and special abilities. And then we've got all our stats down here as well. And then bottom here, we've got all our slots for body, both our hands, and some quick slots for some other equipment. Looking over on this side, we've got our treasure deck sorted. Now, this scenario tells us to put together a very specific treasure deck, just to sort of show us how it works. We've got traps here as well, because I'll show you how traps work if we ever roll them up. And then we've got the different sort of dice we use for the game. So first of all, this little half D20 with a bunch of other symbols on it is the skill dice. This is the main dice you use in the game. And then all these different dice here are used for skill checks. Generally, when you have like weapons or something, you'll have to roll a certain amount of dice. And you get to roll a certain amount of things to sort of benefit you on what you can do. Generally, it works that yellow are the lowest, generally damage dice. Then you've got green are your sort of base sort of level dice, red are better, and black are the most damaging dice you can get. Generally, like great weapons have black dice. So, what we're going to do is we're going to run through the rules and follow the tutorial and go through and let's see how we go. And so, for starters, we've just got to discover all 3 of these treasure chests. So, every model in the Elder Scrolls: A Call to Arms moves 6 inch. You can choose to spend a point of might, so you can, stamina, sorry. So you can see here we've got a 3 stamina, so we can spend a point of that to move an extra 3 inches if we want to, which is called a sprint. We're not going to do that because we're going to get in base-to-base contact with that objective just with our 6 inch move. So we'll move there, and now we will search this objective. So when searching, we roll a skill dice, and pretty much we're trying to avoid anything but the cross swords. The cross swords, the X here, is a bad one. That would trigger a trap, but we rolled a 9, so we're fine. So we flip it, and so we can see it's just a normal treasure. There's no need to unlock this chest. Some of the treasure tokens will have sort of locks on them that will require you to unlock them. This one, not the case. So from that, we get to draw a card from our treasure deck, which we get our Ancient Nord Bow. Now, we can choose to equip this. So we'll put our Ancient Nord Bow on our equip side, and we'll go into another move. So once again, just moving 6 inch. So you have to move around objectives. So we're going to spend a point of might here to give us 9 inches of movement to allow us to go around and flip the next treasure chest. This is going to allow us to draw another. So we've got a potion of plentiful healing. We'll put that in our quick slot. And lastly, we've still got plenty of might. Now, we would, at another activation, get to heal 1 point of might and 1 point of stamina, and magicka. And so we can just use another point of stamina to move on to the last objective and draw our last treasure card, which is the Ancient Nord War Axe. Now, a quick little look at the weapons here. You can see we've got the type of skill you would need. So we need archery, and we can see we've got the skill here. And then we would need one-handed skill, which we have up here. You can see the damage profiles of the weapons, so short and long range for a lot of ranged weapons. And then these, when you roll on particular dice, you get certain effects, and they'll give you piercing. Piercing, for example, ignores a success of your opponent, but doesn't actually cause any extra damage. So next up, we're going to go through the target practice scenario for tutorial 2. Now, we're just using these as markers. They're not actual adversaries. They're just little test dummies for us. And so our Dragonborn, she has our Ancient Nord bow equipped. So we're going to make a bow attack at this test dummy over here. So you can see on the card here, we've got the dice we roll in addition to our skill test. Now, we're at short range, so we're going to get to roll a green and 2 yellow. I will say this is really nice as well, that the dice markings have little pips on them for the different numbers they are. So the green one has no pips and the red one has 2 pips, which is really nice because for someone like me who's terribly colorblind, this makes it really easy to figure out what I'm trying to do. I just need to set my dice up in a pile. So we're going to get 2 yellow and 1 green. I'm going to roll these in addition to our skill dice. Now, to hit our skill value, we have an agility where our bow is. So we need to roll under a 4. So we roll these dice. And you can see I've got a cross swords. That is automatically a failure. Which is bad, so we completely missed on that one. Never fear, we'll try again on our next one. So, what now? This little thing here is a critical. So this means we hit. Anytime you see the exclamation mark, that's great. So that automatically hits. However, if we had to roll a dice, say like a 5 here, we would then subtract this number from it to 3 to see if we can get equal to or lower than our skill, which it would make it a 2, meaning we succeed. Then every one of these little explosions is a success. So that causes a point of damage for every one of these. So this would mean we do 2 points of damage to that skeleton and it is destroyed. Now we'll make the same thing again against the other one, but this time we're going to spend a point of might to make an accurate shot. What this allows us to do is add an extra green dice to this shot to make sure our shot hits that little bit better. So we roll again, we've got a 6, and you can see we've got our 2 greens, -3 and -3. Meaning we go down to a 0, we hit, and we do 2 points of damage again. Next up, we're going to use another point of might, and we're going to sprint right across the table into our last test dummy here, and we're going to make an attack. So this time, we've got our weapons switched out, and so we've got the Ancient Nord War Axe we're going to hit with. So this is going to give us a green and red dice here to attack with. And so we roll out green and red dice. Let's see what we get. We've got a crit once again. Now, once again, you can see we've got the minus here, so that would minus if we have a number. We've also got the little Oblivion marker here. There are different kinds of them. So there's the Oblivion marker, the helmet, and the cross swords, and they all do different things. You can see the Oblivion marker doesn't have anything it does on this particular weapon, but if you rolled the helmet or the cross swords, we would get bleed or punishing. But we got a point of damage here as well. You get all the markers on the same thing. So this means we do a point of damage and destroy the last test dummy. And so now we're going to do the last little tutorial, which is escape the dungeon. So you can see here we've got our Dragonborn in combat with a Draugr, and then we've got a skeleton archer up the back there. Now, we've got to kill both these adversaries to get in. Now, a little addition to our character card, we put on leather armor, which is an upgrade card. Now, you can see the difference with these is they have a little gold septum cost. So when you're creating your warband or creating your adventuring party, you use these to sort of gather and spend your points. So now, let's have a look. This also gives us, some additional armor rating, so we get extra dice when we defend, or indeed get dice at all. Because if you don't have armor, you don't get to roll anything for defense. You just have to take the damage you're given. Now, we're going to go through actions in this little scenario as well. Now, every character you have gets 2 actions per turn. They can never do the same action twice. However, you can use as many boosts as you have stamina to use. So you continuously can use those boosts. And you can use multiple, but you can never use the same boost more than once on the same thing. So, with that said, let's go. Our Dragonborn, she's going to attack with her Ancient Nord War Axe. So, as before, we get a green and a red. And we're going to choose to make this an accurate strike for a point of stamina. So, we put a little token on our stamina saying we've used one. Green one would be proper to do. So, a little green one there. And now we roll our dice to see if we can hit the Draugr. So we rolled a 2, that's a 3, so we do a point of damage, and we have that. So that means bleed. And also, thanks to our Dragonborn, she's got Banish the Wicked, so the Dragonborn adds a yellow dice to all attacks performed against any Daedra, Undead, Vampires, or Werewolves, so we get an extra yellow for another success there. It's going to make it much harder for that Draugr to pass the test. And so now we look at our adversary card here. You can see we've got an armor rating of yellow on the Draugr Greatsword, so he gets to roll a yellow dice. He gets one success, which means he counteracts one of ours, but he still suffers one. He has only a single wound, and because he's not a hero or sort of a more powerful enemy, he just simply is slain. You would get to make some stamina tests on stronger enemies to see whether they just get knocked down prone or potentially stay in the fight, but because he's just a little minion, he goes down. So now we go into the adversary's phase. And so now it is the adversary's turn. So we have this cool little adversary card here that tells us how our adversaries act. Now we look at the skeleton archer and we can see its path is shadow. So we look at shadow and now we roll a single black dice to see how it acts. So it got a success. It's not any of the other symbols, so it just moves. So you've got this cool little matrix here on what you do if you get adversary responses. So we'll look at the move one and see what he does. And so you can see his attitude here is also cautious. So we look up cautious model, and so the adversary will move directly towards the target, moving as close as possible by the shortest possible route. Of course, this adversary will stop short in order to end its movement behind cover. So there's no cover, so it's just going to move, and then it's going to make an attack. So it's going to move, and then it will make a block, because it is a cautious adversary rather than an attack, actually. So you've got these cool little matrix here. You've got cover available, move to cover, color available, move maximum distance, and then block. So it's going to stand there, and then it's going to put up a block, which will allow it to roll an extra yellow dice when it makes its defensive moves against us. And so it is now our Dragonborn's turn again. So at the top of all of your turns, we heal a point of stamina and magicka, but we're now going to use our first action out of our activation to move up into combat with said skeleton, and then we're going to spend a point of stamina to do a power attack. Now this is a different sort, so we add a red dice to this instead of a green dice for a power attack. So let's see what we can do this time. We got a critical hit, awesome, and then we got 3 and bleed. Now bleed doesn't have any effect on normal enemies. It would sort of be a debilitating effect on larger enemies, or indeed when you're playing in PvP, it's a more debilitating effect, so it doesn't have any effect on him. So now the skeleton archer, we look at his armor rating, which is 1 yellow. So we now roll 2 because he's got a block up. He got 2, but we still do a point of damage because we did 3. So thanks to our power attack, we knock him out. And we've completed the little tutorial. Our Dragonborn has successfully escaped Helgen. Well, that's it for the video. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, if you'd like to, leave us a comment letting us know what you liked about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fine little community here, you can do so by following the link in the description of the video to our Discord server and come chat over there with us. Lastly, if you'd like to help support the channel in another way, you can do so either by Patreon, YouTube members, or purchasing some merch from our Teespring store, all of which you will find the links for in the description of the video. And we'd like to give a shout out to everyone who helps support the channel via Patreon and YouTube members. So a special shout out to our Patreons: Christian Weir, James, Soren, Chaosborn, AJC, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shop First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising 8, Cure Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Dynet226, Anton Nilsson, and JJ Austrian. And a thank you to our YouTube members as well: Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Steve T, The Real Zeot, Chris Wallace, Turai12, Vinny, Lock Lorick, Matt Mollum, and the Johnny84. And a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel, and to Xmorphic, who does a fantastic job of doing all the backroom work for our Discord server. Thank you once again for watching. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe again, and stay safe everyone, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.